In this video, we're going to go over how to tune the new for uranium lead Faradays. Everything we're going to go over is going to be in this manual here, and we're going to start on the laser computer. Once you've logged into the laser computer, you're going to go to this chromium icon right here. There'll be various versions, but it'll say chromium. It'll be really clear. You'll just click that. It'll go through some controller setups, make sure all of the parts are functioning. You can wait for 4 seconds or press continue. And then it's going to go through some home staging, some attenuation, setting up the motor, and we'll just hang back while that happens. So this is your chromium software. This is how the laser runs day to day. In the center, you'll have the stage positions. You have our 9-hole holder in there right now. We have these red crosshairs and a square. That's your live video feed. It's black right now, as you can see. That's because our live video feed isn't on yet. To turn it on, you'll go over to View Controls, which is in the lower right-hand corner. And we have a couple of quick sets. One is usually the best, and you can change lighting from there in the lower region: coax, ring, transmitted, brightness, and contrast. So we will turn on quick set 1. And now you can see that you have your crystal right here in our live video now, where you used to have black space. So it's really zoomed out. You have a really bright center there, and that's because we're at a 0% optical zoom. So we'll go over to optical zoom and we'll change that to 75%, and that's what we run at in here. And then we'll zoom in. And now if you check out your live video feed, it's matching up pretty closely to the Mosaic I pre-made there. It's just a little bit out of focus. To focus just above that optical zoom, you can do a coarse, which is automated, and a fine, which is automated, or you can use your manual controls. There are these 2 blue triangles, up and down, for Z focus. I like to do manual when I first start, because I like to be in control. You'll just click up and down, kind of get that guy looking as good as you can. So to build a Mosaic, you'll go up to the top of these toggles at the top of your computer in your Chromium program, and there's a button called Build Mosaic. You'll just click that. That will then bring you a little cross-hatched square that you can adjust to whatever size you need for whatever material or sample you're trying to capture. So to build my Mosaic, I'm gonna wanna see a little bit more of what I got going on. So I'll use my roller ball on my mouse and I'll zoom out a little bit. And then I'll grab one of these white squares and I'll adjust it as I need to. I'll pull it up, I'll pull it to the right, just to get our crystalline view. If I wanted, I could use just the corner, and that'll adjust both top, bottom, left, and right at the same time. Once you have your area designated here, you'll go up to Capture Image, and we're gonna press that button, where you're gonna see a Building Mosaic Project progress bar. At this point, we kind of want it to go a little bit faster. This will take a long time. So we're gonna go up and minimize our screen just a little bit, and it'll just progress a little bit more quickly. While you're making a Mosaic, you can do a couple of things. If you go to your gas control tab, that's in the upper left-hand side near laser control, right here, laser control, gas control. We're gonna wanna bring up our gases for our helium carrier gas. And we'll do this in increments. I like to do 0.05 or 0.1 liters per minute at a time. So for MFC1, our normal running is 0.1. So I'm just gonna bring that up really slow. I'm gonna type in 0.05, and I'll press enter, and I'll watch as my live reading changes. And then I'll go up 0.05 again to 1, 0.1, and then that will change our live reading. I'm gonna go to MFC2 now and change that to 0.3 in slow increments. So we'll just click that. I'm gonna type in 0.05 and then enter. And then I'll watch my live video, my live reading of that change. Then I'll go to 0.1, 0.15, 0.2, 0.25, While you're bringing up gases, it's always good to check your reflected light over on your mass spec computer. And it's sitting at a reflected light of 4. We may need to bring that down with our vacuum if it gets much higher than that. But for right now, it's okay. So we have one last increment of 0.05 to bring this up to 0.3. So we'll just go 0.3 now. And now our MFC1 and MFC2 for helium are flowing at our run settings, which are 0.1 and 0.3. Now we're going to change some laser control settings. We're going to change the laser energy to 96.2. We're going to go change to burst mode. And we're going to have our burst for Faraday's at 145. Spot size of 40 for tuning is good. We'll leave that there. We'll check our energy set point. We may need to do some warming up of the laser, which we'll go over. And then we'll need to turn on our purge. This keeps our ozone out of our laser system. We'll enable our laser. And we will not open the shutter until we've warmed up our laser. So laser enabled, purge done, 96.2%. So we're going to need to warm up our laser since it's been sitting and we've just turned it on. To do that, you'll change your rep rate right here to 50 hertz, and you'll run at 50 hertz for about 30 seconds. So we'll go ahead and type in 50 and enter. We will go into fire mode of continuous, which is this far left picture here. The last thing you'll do is fire laser. It'll prompt you with one question, and that's whether you want to open your shutter if your shutter is closed. We do not. So we'll press no. And we will hear a very high-pitched sound. Now that it's been running on 50 hertz for about, 30 seconds to a minute, we're going to change it to 7. And you don't need to stop the laser to do that. You'll just type in 7 and then press enter. And you'll hear the rep rate change audibly from 50. It'll be more pleasant. And we'll let that run for about 3 minutes. So our laser status is now okay. So we've warmed it up just enough. I'm going to go ahead and stop the laser. And now we're going to set up a line scan to tune with. To get your scan window so you can see your line scan that you're going to tune with, you're going to go to View, Control Panel, Show Hide Scan List. And that's going to generate a new window that kind of looks like an Excel sheet. And we're going to just move that over so it's out of our way, but we can still see what's going on. And we're just going to expand it a little bit down. So in here, you're going to see a lot of defaults, and we need to change a couple of them for our line scan. You can see there's already a line scan in our scan list window. And you just want to reference these settings that we're going to be generating under. So our laser output says it's going to be 100%, and we don't want that. We typed in 96.2, and we still want it to be 96.2. So we're just going to type in 96.2 on that default. We're going to continue on and make sure our spot size is the one we want. And we want a 40 micron circle, so that's great. Now we're ready to actually make the line scan. To make your line scan, you're going to move over here to the left under Place Move Scans. We're currently in the Navigate Sample tab, and that's why we can see our live video. We're going to make a line scan by going to this Line tab. And so I'm just going to do a test so you can see what's going to happen. I'm going to click once with my left clicker. That's going to start my line scan. Now I'm going to draw it out, and that's just going to generate a raster, basically, as far as I want it. Anytime I want to make a inflection point or change the direction or the angle of my line scan, I'll just click once with my left, and I'll just draw it out again in whatever direction I need to go. So that's how you make a line scan. Now let's figure out where we want to put it first. So to end the line scan you don't want, you will click on your right, and then I'll just get rid of it. So I don't really like that scan, that's not where I want to go. So I'm going to delete that guy. To delete anything you don't want in a scan list, you just select it by clicking on it once with the left clicker. And then on the bottom of that scan window is a delete button. And we want to delete it, so we'll click that once. It'll ask us one more time if we're sure we want to delete, and we are, so we'll just press yes. And that line we made disappears. I want to find a good spot to put this line scan for my tuning. When you see the crystal, there's a lot of spots that are already used up. We want to find something that's clean with as little amount of cracks and general grossness as possible. To find a new spot, we're going to go back to Navigate Sample over on that left under Place Move Scans. And we'll just click once. And now we can move our live video feed around. And to do that again, it's just one click wherever you want to go. And then it moves. So let's just zoom out with our roller bar and see if there's a good spot. So this area looks pretty clean. I'm going to zoom in now with my roller bar. And I'm going to navigate to where I want to start my line scan. So I'm going to start right about here. This looks good. Once you've found the area you want to do your line scan, the last thing you need to do is make sure that it's focused. So we'll go back to our autofocus or manual, which is up on our left portion of Chromium. And I'm just going to do a fine focus. I'm going to click once on that button. And it'll go through about 30 different steps and pick the best one. Pick the best one. Just give that a minute. If you're not satisfied with what it gave you, you can always use manual. And so I'm just going to click through manually through different Z positions and find the one I think looks best. Looks like that guy is pretty good, so we'll stick with that. Now that it's focused, we're going to create our line scan. So we need to switch from Navigate Sample to Line. And that's back here under Place Move Scans. We'll click once. We'll get our little line icon. And let's start it right here. We'll click once again to start our line scan, and we'll draw it as far as we'd like. I'm going to zoom out just to get more of that crystal into my field of view. And we'll just stop it here. Once you are happy with your final endpoint, you'll right-click, and that's your new line scan, and you'll see it populate here once it's finished. You want to check your settings one last time. You want to make sure your laser energy is sitting at 96.2%, and that your spot size for that raster line scan is 40 micron circle. So everything's good to go. Before we start, I'm going to switch to Navigate. And then I'm going to zoom back in. You just want to make sure that your whole line scan is on every part of the crystal that you want it to be, and that you're not going to cross any other line scans or large cracks that you don't want to encounter. And if you needed to change that, we're going to go back. And there's this cool thing called Select Drag. You'll click that. And at that point, you can actually modify where exactly that line scan is. So if we go back to our line scan, and we just click on it anywhere with our left, we can move that guy up, down, side to side, and change it as we need to. But I'm happy with it right there, so I'm just going to let it go. And it's going to stay put. Now we're ready to actually start our line scan. To do that, you'll go to the Run Scans tab within that scan list window. And that guy is right here. You'll just click it once, and it'll give you this elongated window. We want to check our pauses, and that's just telling the laser when to stop, start, and pause. So you'll go to Show Trigger, Delays, and Gas Mode panel. And all we're confirming here is that there's an initial pause at Action 1 at the start of the ablation pass. All the other pauses should be 0, and we're just confirming that. Then we'll go ahead and hide that. If everything's ready to go and our settings are good, then we'll press Start. And that's going to bring us right to the start of our line scan. It paused 2 seconds, and now it's firing. And we'll switch over to the mass spec side to get that tune going. So that's that.
Yeah.
Now we're over here. In this video, we're gonna learn how to tune the new. We're gonna do uranium lead for Faraday's. We're gonna start on our laser computer over here.
But guess what?
What?
You have to introduce the manual.
Fuck! Damn it! That's why I have to hold it in front of my face so I remember. Okay.
Okay,
Let's go.